Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Travis Monson, and I'm going to teach you a game. So family and friends for years have told me that they like the way that I explain games and the way that I teach them, and so they've asked me, "Hey, when are you gonna make videos of teaching games?" And so I always resisted for a while, but I think finally I'm going to try it. My wife suggested we start with a game that we really like as a family, the game Azul by Michael Kiesling. This one, the Spiel des Jahres, which is kind of like winning the Oscars in the board game world. Won that award just a couple years ago. It's had a bunch of sequels, like different spin-offs with the same name with different subtitles, different gameplay. They're all great. They're a lot of fun. But Azul is the game that I'm going to start with first. So I apologize. This is probably going to be rough. This is my first time ever doing this. So hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully you can understand the way I'm teaching. And let me know if you have any questions or comments. Let me know if you got recommendations of other games you want me to try and explain. And yeah, so I know there's a lot of other YouTube channels of people that do this. This is really, I'm starting because of family and friends asking me to. So I hope you like it, and thanks for watching. All right, so again, teaching how to play the game Azul. This is a great game, one of our family's favorites. It was the Spiel des Jahres winner a couple years ago. I have it set up right now for 2 players. It comes with more of these market stands. You use 5 of them for 2 players, or if there's a third player, you add a couple more, and then if you play with all 4 players, you use all of them. Okay, and you just would set them up in a circle like this, kind of like I've got here. All right, so to start the game, like I said, you use the correct number of market tiles based on the number of players, and you just draw from the bag 4 pieces per tile, okay? And you put the little start player piece in the middle, okay? And then you're ready to start. Gotta say, these pieces are awesome. They're fun to play with. We always call them our starburst pieces because they look like little starbursts. Anyway, so this game is played over a number of rounds until a game end trigger occurs, okay? And the game end trigger is when any one player at the table completely fills in one horizontal row of their tiles, okay? And so you play a round, and if that hasn't happened, then you reset for the next round, and so on until somebody has completely filled in one row, okay? Doesn't matter columns, doesn't matter anything else, it's just one row. When one row is complete, when that round is over, the game is over, and then you add up final scores, okay? So when it's your turn, what you're gonna do, and so basically each round, it's kind of like broken into 2 phases. There's the taking tiles phase, and once all these tiles are taken, then you move into the put the tiles on your wall phase, okay? And again, at the end of that, put the tiles on the wall phase, then you see if somebody has a complete row, and that's what triggers the end of the game, okay? So what's gonna happen, starting with the start player, you have an option of taking tiles, okay? You can pick tiles from any market stand, or eventually later on there's gonna be some in the middle. So you can take them from any market stand or from the middle. And I'll get to that, how that works in just a second. So when you choose to take tiles, you take all of the tiles of one type from whatever location you're taking from. So maybe, for instance, I wanna take these 2 black tiles, okay? So if I pick these black tiles, I would take all the ones of that type from this stand, right? And then whatever's left, everything that's left over slides into the middle, okay? Conversely, I could have said, you know what, I'd rather have these light blue tiles, these little snowflake tiles, then these would slide into the middle, that kind of thing. So you take all of one type and everything else slides into the middle. And that also works if you're only taking a single tile. Maybe I just want one blue, then everything else would go into the middle. Does that make sense? All right, so on your turn, you take all of the tiles of one type and then you put them on your board, okay? And you put them, so you have a tile storage place over here, okay? I suppose maybe I should slide over, I'm not sure. Hopefully this is my first video. Hopefully this is okay. So we'll see how this all works out. But basically, like I said, so my turn, I take all the tiles of one type, everything else slides into the middle, and then I have to put them on my board, okay? Now let me explain the board for a second. Okay, you have your little tile storage area. Obviously only a single tile can fit here, 2 tiles fit here, and so on up to the 5 tiles on the bottom, okay? All of the tiles that you take with one given action, so on your turn, everything that you take, whether it's 1 tile or 4 tiles or possibly more if you're taking from the middle, all of them have to go in the same spot. So maybe right now it would make perfect sense for me to put 2 tiles where there's space for 2 tiles, like that. I could not put 1 tile here and 1 tile here because all of the tiles that you take on one action have to go in the same spot, and there's only room for 1 tile right there. So I could do that, or I could put them anywhere else, right? But maybe I'll do that, for instance, okay? Then it would go to the next person. So maybe this person says, you know what, I'll take these snowflake tiles. So they take all of one type, and they also slide whatever's left over. So they put them on their board. Then it's back to me. I say, you know what, maybe I just want to take, I'll take 2 red tiles. So I'll take these 2 red tiles, and these will slide over, okay? So maybe I'll put my 2 red tiles here, okay? And then it comes to the next person, and they say, oh, let's see, the snowflake. Maybe they want to take, just a single blue tile for right now. And so they put it right there. Everything else they didn't take slides in, okay? You can take at any moment, you can, instead of from a tile, you can also take from the middle, okay? There's a caveat to that though. The very first person to take from the middle also takes this little first player tile, okay? That means 2 things. First of all, that means they're gonna be the star player for the next round, but also the start player tile doesn't fit anywhere on your board. It has to go down here below to the broken tile. So basically, thematically in this game, we're building tile wall mosaics, right? And tiles that you've dropped and broken thematically are what kind of fall to the bottom, and they fill up these spaces, and you lose points at the end of each round for tiles you have on the bottom of your board. So when you take from the middle, the first person to pull from the middle, like maybe for instance, oh, I should have thought this through. I just was taken. I wasn't really thinking about my board, how to score. But maybe, let's say I wanted to get a couple of yellow tiles. Maybe I wanted these yellow tiles. So if I'm the first person to take out of the middle, I also take the start player tile. So I'll get to go first next round, but I'm gonna lose a point for doing that. Okay, so I put these on my board, so I go right here. Okay, and again, I could put them wherever, but I'll put them here, and I'll explain why in just a minute when I explain how you score points. Okay, it comes back to this person. So now, this is free game. Now there's no penalty from taking from the middle. So this person says, you know what, I'm gonna take these 2 black ones. And so they take that, then it's back to me. I say, I will take, I want just 1 single snowflake. I should have thought that through, and you'll see why when I explain scoring. But maybe I say, I want to take a single red. So I'll take a single red tile, everything else slides into the middle. And I'll put that red right there. Okay, now this person comes, they say, oh, you know what? I will take 3 blue tiles, okay? I'll put maybe these 3 blue tiles over here. Okay, then it's back to me. I say, I will take this other yellow. This person says, and I do want to point this out, okay? The person already has blue, and they have blue again. That's totally fine. You are allowed to use the same color in multiple rows, okay? The only caveat is you can't split what you take in a single action. You can't split it between rows, okay? So then it comes back to me. I think it was my turn. I just lost track. So it comes back to me, and I say, I really wanted just 1 tile. Unfortunately, I have to take all of 1 type. So like it or not, I have to take them. But I want 1 there. So this one, there's no room for it. Again, I could not split this up. Does that make sense? I could not split that up. So I put it there, and what doesn't fit falls down, and it's gonna break. I'm gonna lose a point for that. Then it comes to this person. They say, ooh, perfect, thank you. I want this last black one. And then it's me, I have to take the red. So the only place I have left is here. Because when you're taking tiles, you cannot mix. Even though there's empty space here, I cannot put 2 different types of tiles in the same spot. I could choose to just break it, but I would be losing a couple of points. I don't want to do that, so I'll put it down here, okay? Now all the tiles are gone, okay? So now we move into the build tiles on your wall phase, okay? And this is something every player can do simultaneously. Once you understand how, everybody can do it at the same time just to move the game along. But the first couple of rounds, especially when you're teaching, it helps to kind of do it together person by person to make sure people are scoring properly, okay? So in order to move tiles over to score points, to add them to your wall, the row that they're in has to be completely filled. So first of all, so this first one, and you always go top to bottom when you do it. So this first one, this is completely filled, so it moves over to the matching spot on the wall, okay? And you're gonna basically score for adjacencies in rows and columns. A tile all by itself just scores 1 single point. So I'd say I scored 1 point for that, okay? Now this second row, this is also completely full. So I take one of them. So whenever it's full, you always just take one to your wall, and the leftovers just get discarded. I usually like to throw them back in the box lid. And I would put it right here in its matching spot. And now you see, now I have a column of 2. So I would score 2 points. Okay. Now this third row, red is completely filled in, and red goes right there. Okay. These, again, I just put aside for now. And now I have a column of 3. So I score 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this row is not filled in yet. There's a space missing, so they just stay put. Same thing with the red on the bottom, that stays put. I don't lose anything. Now I had 2 things that fell and broke, so they each lose me 1 point. This is not just how far did you reach and you lose that, you lose everything cumulatively. So I lose 1 point for this and 1 point for this, so I lose 2 points. And so I go back, and then I can just get rid of that, and this will go back in the middle, but I remember that I'm the start player for the next round. And then this person over here, this row is full, so it scoots over and they score 1 point because it's 1 all by itself. Now there's 2. This row is complete, so 1 goes over and this gets discarded. So now there's nothing in the row, but now there's a column of 2, so they score 2 points. This is completely filled in, so this goes right here. So now they score 3 points. 1, 2, 3. And these get discarded. And then this row is not completely filled in, so that doesn't score right now. Okay, so you can see it makes sense to try and fill in rows or column, as you fill things in, it makes sense to try and put things next to each other, because then you're going to score more points, right? Because if this were over here, I would score 1 point for that, 1 point for that, 1 point for that. But when I put them in order, I scored 1, then I scored 2, then I scored 3, if that makes sense. Okay, so it helps to try and put stuff close together so you can score for rows and columns. Okay. And I'll show that. I'll just set up how the next round would go, then I'll kind of show some additional scoring, then I'll talk about how the game's going to end. Okay, so once it's done, once you've added to your walls and discarded the extra tiles, then you just reset for the next round. So you grab the bag, get it all mixed up, and again, you put 4 tiles on each little market stand. Okay, so go ahead and do this really quick. So put 4 tiles in each spot. Well, there's 5, so we'll put 1 over there. And 2 more. Okay. All right. So now, again, as the start player, it's back to me. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I need at least 1 yellow at some point so I can complete this in, and then that will add, and then I'll be able to score 4 points when I score that row. And I'm looking, and of all the places, both those places give me a chance to take 1 single yellow. So maybe I'm thinking about that. I'm also thinking I'm going to need a bunch of reds to fill this in, but oh no, there's not many red. So I'm not going to be able to fill that column, that row in this turn. But maybe to start, I'm thinking, you know what, I'd like to get something next to this guy so I can score for the row. So maybe I want a single black piece. So maybe I'll take this for my first action. So everything else slides to the middle, and I put that there. This person is similarly thinking, hey, I want a single yellow so I can score next to that. Or maybe they want a single blue to fill in that row, to get a piece over there. Whatever they're thinking, let's just say, hey, I'm going to take a single yellow. So they take a piece here. The other things slide into the middle. Okay, back to me. I say, you know what? This is my last chance. I want to make sure I get a single yellow before I have to take a bunch, and then the rest won't fit, so I have to fall and break those tiles. So I take a single yellow. Everything else slides into the middle. I put it there. Back to this person. This person says, you know what? I'm going to get this yellow space. Maybe I want to try and a couple of blue for this space. They say right now I can only take 1 blue at a time. So maybe they're thinking I'll come back to that. Maybe I'll try and get it later. But if I can get the blue, maybe they want to try and get the snowflakes next. So maybe I want to try for multiple snowflakes. I say, hey, how about I take these? So these slide in, and I put a couple of snowflakes here. Then it's back to me. I'm thinking if I'm going to get the black one here, maybe I want to get some red. Hey, 2 red. There's 2 red. That's perfect. But if I'm the first one, again, I will do it, but I'm going to lose a point. I will remain the start player for the next round, but I'm going to lose a point for doing that. Okay. Back to this person. They say, you know what? A single snowflake would be great to finish this row. Right now, this would be 2. This would be 1. Let me take the single one to complete the row. Those slide into the middle. Okay, so they put it there. Then it's back to me. I say, you know what? It'd be great to get the yellow space filled in because I'm gonna have this filled and this filled. So if I can get this one as well, that'd be great. The only issue is there's only 3. This is 4. I'm thinking, that's a bummer. I'll lose a point, but it's going to give me a lot of points. It's going to help. So I think I'll take one. I'll bite the bullet, and I'll put 3 of them there. And then of course 1 doesn't fit, and it falls down. Now, one thing I want to point out, okay, something that I haven't mentioned. When you take tiles, again, like I said, the tiles that you take have to go, everything you take in one single action has to go in the same spot. I can't split them up in multiple rows, right? I already talked about that. But I also want to mention, and I did mention, you can have the same color in multiple rows, like I have here. I have 2 different red rows, I have 2 different yellow rows. That's totally fine. As long as I didn't split them up from the tiles I took on a single action. I can't split them between rows. The other thing you have to remember is you cannot take tiles and put them somewhere if you already have the matching space filled in. For instance, if I already had red here, I could not take red tiles and then add them to this row. Because once I filled it in, you see there's no place to put those tiles. I can't fit them on my board. I already have that space filled in. So I am no longer allowed to put red in this row. Does that make sense? So I could no longer put a single snowflake up here. I could no longer put black tiles here, and so on. You get the gist. So when you take them, all the tiles you take on a single action, they have to go in the same row that you put them in. They all have to fit. Whatever doesn't fit breaks, falls down and breaks. You'll lose points for it. But then also, after the first round, you have to make sure that whatever tiles you're taking, you are allowed to add them to your wall, meaning that same spot is not already filled in, okay? And so everything's looking good, although I did take 1 extra, I had to break it. Now it's back to this person. They're thinking, well, this would have been perfect a minute ago, but now he put the extra blue in there because I only wanted 2, but they do want the 2 blues because they want to fill that row in. So this extra blue is going to fall and break. They'll lose a point for that. But then it's back to me, and I say, oh, great, this sucks, right? Now I'm in a spot where nothing I take can fit. These rows are all filled in, and I already have a red one here. So I can't mix multiple colors. So no matter what I take, it's gonna just fall down and break. So I'm gonna take the lesser of 2 evils. I'll take 2 tiles instead of 3, but they both have to get broken. They both go down there, which is a bummer. And this person kind of laughs maniacally. They make fun of me, and they say, thank you, I'll take these 3. And of course, they put them down here at the bottom. Okay, so we finished another round. We finished the taking tiles part of the round. Now we move to the scoring again. So again, you look complete rows, top to bottom. You always go top to bottom because then you score for adjacencies. So you always do them in that order, top to bottom. So first, this row is filled in. So this moves over. And now I've got a row of 2. So I score 2 points. Okay. This row is filled in. So I take one of them, add to the wall, one throws away. Okay. And now this is great. Now this is what I'm talking about with adjacencies. Because now when I add this tile here, I just made a column of 2 and a row of 2. So I score 2 points for the column and 2 points for the row. So that scores me 4 points. Okay. Then here, I've got this row filled in. So I take one, I add it over here. The rest I discard for now. And again, like before, this gives me a column of 3 and a row of 2. So I just scored 5 points. Okay. This row is also filled in. So I take one and I put it over here. And those get discarded. Now this gives me a column of 4, but they never score for rows by themselves. So this just gives me a column of 4, so 4 more points. And again, the single red by itself, it's not filled, so it stays put until a later round. But then unfortunately, I lose 1, I lose 1, I lose 2, and I lose 2. So 2, 4, 5, 6. So I lose 6 points. Ouch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a bummer, but I'll still get to go first. Then it comes back to this person. This first row is filled, so they put it there, and they score 2 for that row. This row is filled, so they put it there. They discard the extra. Then they score 2 for the row and 2 for the column, so they get 4. Then this row is also filled in, so they put it there. And this goes away. And then again, they'll score 2 and 3, so they'll score 5. And then this is not filled in, so this doesn't move. This is not filled in, it doesn't move. And then they have 1 piece down here, so they lose 1 point. Okay? So that's the end of that round. Okay, so at the end of these first 2 rounds, this person is sitting at 16 points. I'm sitting at 13 points, so it's pretty close. They're about to fill a couple more rows in, and so on. And then again, I'm start player, so I would get to go first. We would reset once again, fill the markers, and then we just keep going like we've just done. Once the bag is empty, all the tiles that were discarded from previously filled in spots, they go back in the bag, and then you would just keep drawing and so on. And you keep going, like I said, until somebody completely fills in 1 whole row, right? So if at the end of that turn, I had, I need a yellow and a blue and a red. So if at the end of that round, I had ended and I already had all these things filled in, then I see I have a complete row that triggers the end of the game. So we look at final scoring and then the game is over. So let me talk about final scoring for a second here. Okay. And I do want to mention, I was kind of trying to show a little bit of a strategy of trying to get tiles together. It is totally legal and totally fine. They could have had a piece over here. That's just 1 point. That's fine. They could have had something down here that would have scored. You're going to score a point and a point. That's great. That's totally legal. But you can kind of compound your scores and do better when you get tiles closer together, because you can see how you got those adjacency points as well. So it's typically more strategic to make sure your tiles, as you fill them into your wall, try and get them close together so that you can score extra points. Okay. So at the end of the game, you're going to look at a couple things, and it's summarized on the bottom of the board here. So actually, I'll leave that there. I'll rotate my board to show. So I'll even lift it up so it's a little easier. Let me point this out. Okay. So first and foremost, down here in the lower right corner of your board, it kind of shows some of the game end scoring points that are available. So the first thing you look at is complete rows. And again, somebody is going to have at least one complete row, because that's what triggered the end of the game. But everybody that has a complete row is going to score 2 extra points per complete row. So in that example, if I had, also had all of these, and I was the one that triggered the end of the game, I would score 2 points for that complete row, right? And then you look complete columns. Complete column, if I had managed to get that blue piece down there at some point during the game, I would have a complete column. For every complete column, you're going to score 7 extra points, okay? And then finally, you see all these equal signs? That's if you manage to get all 5 spaces of the same pattern, then you get 10 bonus points. So you see, I already had 3 different yellow spaces. I had 3 different red spaces filled in. If I managed to get the other couple of yellows or the other couple of reds over the course of the game, I would score 10 bonus points per color that I got all 5 spaces. So you kind of walk that balancing line of, hey, it's 10 bonus points, but to do so, I'm going to be having some stranded standalone tiles that are not adjacent to everything else. So you might not score as many points when you place them for adjacencies like all this, but then you will score more for a 10-point bonus. So you're trying to figure out what works best for you when you're looking at your strategy of how to score the most points. Okay? And that's pretty much it. So once somebody's completely filled in a row, like I said, you do those final scoring for complete rows, complete columns, and all of one color, and then the most points wins. It's a super fun game. It's really quick. Games typically last, 20, 30 minutes. And we've had a blast. Everybody we've taught it to has had a lot of fun. So hopefully this helps you understand how to play and maybe gives you a little bit of insight into how to do, how to do a little bit better, how to score some more points. And yeah, so thanks. Thanks for listening. All right, well, that's it for this video. I'm just gonna finish putting the game away here, and that will be it for now. So again, hope you liked it, hope you understood, and hopefully you're ready to play Azul yourself. And let me know if you have any questions, or let me know if there's something else you want me to cover. Thanks.